because you know the team, everything in front and behind the scenes. So it was nothing for me to take that time out. So thank you as well.
Thank you, Dave.
And that's right. That's the only reason. It's like for the purpose, for the cause.
For the cuz, man. For the cuz. Hey y'all, it's your girl Bean Pie, and we're here with Let's Keep It a Bean. We are now at Mac Game Technologies. It is one of downtown's finest tech and gaming studios. We are here to have some fun, learn some things, talk to some artists in the city, and expose it. Cause you know we keeps it a bean, you know. So Mac Tech, if you can't hear me, Mac Tech, okay? And it's on Baltimore Street. Definitely check it out. But we are here with the one, the only, Aloneatiq.
Hey, what's happening, y'all? How y'all doing?
And Aloneatiq has some things he wants to tell us. First off, Aloneatiq is going to tell us how to build a poem. Then Aloneatiq is going to tell us some stuff about what's going on in his life. So we're going to get some questions out there. All right? You ready? Let's go. So Aloneatiq, tell me, what's the name? Like Aloneatiq. There's so many things going on in it.
Right. It's a combination of Alone and Lunatic. Yeah, the history behind that is a lot, but basically, as far as like when I decided to start poetry, it was like, okay, what's my name gonna be? So my home, like the very first place I started was over in Phoenix, and when I finally did get on, I'm like, I'm just gonna be Jermel. I'm gonna be my name, right? And then it's like, all right, so what we gonna do with the artist name? I don't know, but that was already in existence. I'm a member of a fraternity, so that was already there. All right, we're gonna keep that.
Yes. Okay. And then as far as like traveling and being, you said you started the poetry in Phoenix?
I was living in Arizona back in 2010 up till 2016 before I came out to Maryland.
Yeah. So you had about 6 years in both places doing poetry?
What Baltimore period?
In Phoenix. How long were you in Phoenix?
I was there 2010 to 2016.
And you were doing poetry the entire time?
Yes, but way more off and on. So like these days, like I'm outside, I'm active. That's what the hesitation was. Then it was like, yeah, like I did 2 in 2010, like 4 times in 2011. So it was like that was me getting my feet wet, figuring me out and all that type of stuff.
So do you feel like you are figured out, or do you feel like you are figuring more out?
It is both.
It is both.
Right? Like this is 100% like actually, let me not say 100%. This feels like the prime as far as this is the best of that I have so far, but I also haven't peaked yet. So we're continuing to push. We got it's some Baltimore like virtual writing groups that I'm a part of. Shout out Black Chakra, shout out Ephraim Nehemiah. So it's like them alone by themselves is like opportunities for me to continue to push what I do and what I can do.
We done fed the community, now we always have to feed ourselves. At the Hub, her favorite place to go, the Asian food hall. See where we at. Welcome to the Hub.
This is my boyfriend. We getting married soon.
That's her boy. Let me see you rub that tummy.
So it's good to see you, boo. It's the king.
This beautiful place.
names, some people who have helped with your career so far. Tell me more about like building those relationships, the road to it. I know like in Baltimore, the artistry scene can be challenging for some people to navigate and build those networks and actually get out there. How has your journey been, and what are some tips that you would tell artists who are up and coming, artists who already were in the scene and want to retry? What are some things you would tell them?
That's a fantastic question. So basically, when I first got here, I was in the PG County area, and so it would be like there's the events in Baltimore and then there's DC. So as far as Baltimore goes, what's actually crazy, if I'm not mistaken, the very first time. So this all like Baltimore, everything starts with poetry parties as far as me. So shout out Keith Line. So I think that the very first time that I got exposed or really checked them out was quarantine, actually. So that was more like 3-4 years ago, right? So it's like, yeah, everybody's home. The artists, well, a lot of the artists are like doing their thing. We're doing virtual open mics, getting together, writing workshops and all that. And we're getting to meet New York and Philly and people we didn't know that was right in the area and people across the country. So really all to say, like, that's something simple, just show up, really, and show up with the intention to support what's going on, to figure out what's going on. Like, one thing that people sometimes do that is an absolute no-no is, hey, you don't know me at all, when y'all want to feature me, just let me know. Like, screw you. You know what I'm saying? Like, who, you know what I'm saying? Right, like, yeah, right. And usually and people usually try that with somebody that's quite established. Like, I already got like 10, 12 people lined up, like, and we're doing our thing. That's why you came to us. So that's one, like, please don't do that. If anything else, like, please don't do that. But it's something as simple, like, genuine helps, one, and two, like, support the scene bigger than what it can do for yourself. So it just so happens that, like, that's who I am. So it's not like you don't have to try. It's what I was gonna do regardless. So yeah, showing up there a few times, figuring out how it works, getting my opportunity, and then just give them me, give them who I am, and like that and many other platforms embrace like that's one thing I like about spoken word is they embrace when you can tell people, people can read you. So when you're not trying to get over, when you're not trying to be phony, these types of things, it's like whatever it is you do, like we here, keep doing your thing, and so that's probably be authentic and don't come in there with the leech mind, like support first and then let that come back to you.
Yes. And I think it was something powerful when you were saying like go in with the intention to support it for something bigger than just for yourself.
Absolutely.
And what are some of those things that you support in your morality, in your lifestyle, in your culture, in your mindset that are bigger than yourself, that cross over with your artistry, that you can also support when you do it?
I mean, I'm not heavy on political, but like we've made it like it has to matter now, right? Like the situation we're in is very like people that are trying to completely ignore it, like good luck, but it's actually a little bit detriment. You don't want to get drowned into it, so find that balance. But like I'm thinking of that because as I'm on the way up here, it's a truck. So I'm in Glen Burnie, for those who don't know, that's like out in the cut. It's not Baltimore. I'm not from Baltimore. I don't live in Baltimore. Let's get that out of the way, you know what I'm saying? Lead with that. Right, so I'm driving on the way up and it's a truck that with the Trump 2024 and some other joint, like I said, like something like tried in a small town. I'm like, all right, I'm in there. And honestly, and I'm not for real, like I say all that, they just, they got empowered. You know what I'm saying? Like the way it went, they got empowered. It's so political. I'm just an empathetic person to those without a voice. That's a major one. I really respect that spoken word is a community for the most part. Gives the women an opportunity to get their voice out. We still got our problems there too, but it's a space. You know what I'm saying? Like even what you're doing right here. So like I support that. I'm here for like talk what you gotta talk as far as what y'all are going through in your individual, situations. I'm huge on mental health. Like that's a personal, situation, and a story that I have. So everybody else's, regardless, obviously being a black man, that's its own lane, but like everybody else, you know what I'm saying, that has their mental health journey, that's theirs too. So I encourage those who are, kind of dealing with that, navigating that, on their own. I respect that. because it's not easy.
Absolutely. So like, I know that you're gonna give us a basic rundown on like how to build out a poem.
Right.
But I want to ask you maybe a more challenging question.
Okay.
For poets going through mental health crisis, or not even just a crisis, just having like a struggle with their mental health, and they want to write. Right? What are some things that like they can do to break through that? Like say, and let's let's use your name. What if they feel like they're lunatics and they feel like they're alone? And they feel like they don't have people a space in their community as far as like to be completely vulnerable as a person, right? Not putting everything on the mic because that could be dangerous too. But what would you tell them that they could do to get through the mental health thing and to get through the writer's block caused by the mental health?
Absolutely. So, you know, there's just normally maybe, you know, to dig deeper, but the person who like has no experience, the surface level, like to get like that's 100 or 7 people, and you just stood in front of them and gave them that first statement, that surface level is amazing, because before you weren't doing anything. So to go from that to starting it off is huge, right? So just start there, and I think actually that would be one. Take it one step at a time. Like I didn't, like my personal journey, I didn't go from like, I didn't do nothing, and my first poem was like whatever people might have seen that's like up there. Like there was steps. I've even made mistakes these days, right? So just start with something basic, like, cause the step to show up, to prepare something, to show up, to sign up, to actually walk up when you get called instead of being like, oh, I'm gonna be right back and drive home. Like all of these steps are like, please don't, like this is individual accomplishments before you even got up on the mic to say a word. So just start, and even before that, that comes back to the support it does it for you. Speak the scene. Like, see what's up. Is this even the spot for me to do that? Are they going to make me feel like, why would I ever speak up? Because I'm not going to do it twice. If I finally come out and my first time is terrible, I'm about to be like, all right, I'm going to try it again and I'm going to show. No, and that's why I like the, you know, even, and I'm hyper, but like even those venues that are, you know, open and welcoming is because they, you know, usually because they know that, like, the amount of work it took them to even try to do this, like, let's celebrate that. So just, baby stuff, put that, you know, that toe in the water and then go from there. But don't, great point you made, please don't go out there and say it started at 4, and the person's name was, and you know what I mean? Like, cause it's hard to figure out what that line is, and you need to be seasoned to figure it out. So don't try to solve it all and get it all right at once.
So like, just get started.
Yeah.
One step at a time.
Yeah.
Keep discernment.
Yeah.
As far as scoping the scene, knowing which scenes to do the vulnerable poems at all, and then also scoping the scene to know, don't put it all on tables. That not all, like, yes, express through your art, but don't make yourself vulnerable. Don't take your protections.
Yeah, don't overshare, right? Yeah. Don't let vulnerability confused with oversharing. And then also the whole, you wrote it, you showed up, you signed up, you try to like celebrate all those little things. Don't just be, did my poem get a standing ovation? Did I hear somebody say something when I said a line? There's so many other things that went right in that scenario. Please, enjoy all those things.
Yes, I love that. So walk me through writing poetry. Like I am now Aloneatiq, and I am sitting down, I'm thinking about this poem because I know all I do is spit hot fire. My name is Dragon when I sit down because that's what I do. I already know, I chew, everything is burnt, So what's the next step after you've decided I'm Aloneatiq, I'm about to get started with this. So I know I'm about to do it, right? So walk me through this first step.
I love it. Because I'm about to bring it all the way back home. Well, you know what I'm saying? I love it. But I appreciate that. You know what I mean? Because for real, people don't just do that. They don't just hype. So I appreciate those that, show love like that. But the first thing that Aloneatiq and everybody else needs to do, first and foremost, is have a story to tell. That's more important than how I take that one word and flip it again and say it again a different way. So now it's that part's cool. But what am I trying to tell? Right? Because with that, then that keeps me like, all right, so as we continue with this piece, maybe it was the first line or something. And even that, sometimes I come up with just a line that I feel like is amazing, but what are we putting that in the scope of, right? Like, because I'm not a lyrical miracle. I'm just about to rhyme for 4 minutes, and then y'all was like, it sounded good, but like, what did he say? Like, I heard him say something, but what did he say? You know what I'm saying? So start there, because it really actually, like, whatever your different styles are, if you're gonna sit there and be, you know, a real talker, if you're going to, if it's erratic, it can be that. If you're a, you know, tell that wonderful, you know, paint a picture story, or if you're a lyricist, like, all that's fine, but what is the thing? You know what I'm saying? So start there. For Aloneatiq, what I would suggest to you is a very situation. The thing I absolutely have to do is come back and do the edits, right? So it's like, and so the two sides of that story is, all right, get everything you want out. So don't, because that's what I used to do in the past. It was like, all right, the next thing that I think of, the next thing that I write now needs to be the thing. And it worked out a lot of times, but it didn't work out. It was like one of those, it's not the greatest strategy, but it works out, so it fools me into thinking like this is the thing to do, and it's not. So like, yeah, get all the thoughts out, then come back, all right, pull the ones that make the final draft. You know what I'm saying? Put that together. So it's like, you know, and sometimes that means, you know, today was the writing, now let me go to sleep, wake up tomorrow. Like, okay, this was cool, nah, that gotta go. Oh, let me build on this part. You know what I'm saying? Like, so don't be afraid to say, all right, that was great and all, how do we take it the next step further? Or it was but it's got something. There's something here, you know what I mean, that we can build off, so don't scrap it. You know, like, we just started, like, don't like, this ain't it right now, so I'm fully trashing it. Like, nah, you just don't like, you know, that trust the process, but like, for real. Trust the process. So I say those, and then the other thing for me is like, I have a lot of thoughts here, but the memorization and performance is a different story. So like, if you do too much, now you're responsible for doing, you know what I'm saying, when it's time to go out. Like, you're, you know, my analogy is the Olympics just happened, right? And is it Simone Biles currently? I think it is. She was, and so like, we have these elite athletes, and it's to the point that the routine, the floor routine they set up is so, like, the top, you know, like the potential is so up there, and nobody else can even actually match it for real, but they also really hold her to that standard to kind of normalize it. That's its own story about black women greatness. That wasn't the question, right? So it's like that, if you're gonna go for it, but be prepared to match it. You know what I'm saying? So like, and if you gotta scale back so that you get it out, do that. You know, everything doesn't have to be the next greatest poem you've ever done. That's another. Like, if it's not the slam winning poem that is about to be posted on the big platform, then I don't want to do it. Like, it doesn't have to be that. There's a level. You know what I mean? There's a level that I should be held to an expectation of, but it's not everything got to be the greatest of all time. Otherwise, nobody needs to hear this message that, quite honestly, as a believer, that God put in my, you know, in my spirit to share with whoever that person might need to be. So don't let selfishness.
So it's holding yourself to a standard, but not like vain perfection.
A reasonable standard. Let's keep it, Like,
I like that. And so, like, the step by step, has there ever been a time where you go through the step by step, you start and you get stuck? And if so, is there a step in the process that you get stuck more often on? How do you get through that?
That's a good question. So I think one simple is like, if I had an idea, you know, I did all the steps, but the idea ain't produced the poem yet, there's the pause button.
Okay.
And again, don't throw it away. Leave it there and come back. And I've done that before. It came back to something I was like, oh, I was asleep on this one. Like, we're ready now. And maybe I'm in a different space where it's time to deliver it. You know what I'm saying? Now it's here. You know what I mean? But as far as unfinished, maybe just that, the unfinished, like from the first line to the, like, this is ready, you know, I can sign my name and all that. Like, I have a stanza or 2 lines. or even 3/4. But it's like, the beginning is fire. Those one-liners, the signature joint, I got a couple of those, but it's not ending. It's got to end. Like, we got to conclude it. I'm not there yet. Okay. Then we wait.
How do you know when it's complete? Like when it's done?
Believe that same intuition that has done all these other, that is capable of doing all these other things. When you say it out loud, when you can say that you feel like, now I'm ready, now I want to say this in front of people, and have them react, receive it and all that. Okay, then you are ready. If you have that doubt, you know the difference between this isn't ready and like this isn't something vain, like this isn't gonna be the very best, versus like, no, but this is ready to represent who I am and deliver whatever it is that I want to get across. Like, trust your intuition. You're a writer after. I don't care. First time, you're a writer. Like, you know what you're doing. You know what you're thinking. You know what I'm saying? You've done an interview. You've gotten in spaces and shared represented yourself any other way. Like, when it's,
know your value.
Yeah. Know yourself. And be yourself. Yeah.
I like that. Are there any poems that you put down, like something that you've written and you're like, I'll never read this out again, like I'm over this time period? Or is it a thing like you're willing to go into the multiple versions of yourself?
There are poems I've written and I never planned to go. Like, it was for just the writing exercise, or that was just for me, or it was just like, getting to write, but this isn't to go up. I've done a poem and I was like, that didn't do what I thought it was going to do, or it's not hitting how I thought. And if it doesn't, and sometimes it's just for that moment, right? So there's that. And then there's poems where my first time I completely messed up. And it is like, it is like, well, sometimes it's like, let me get that right back. But sometimes it's, you gotta make that decision. Like, is this one just not, is it meant to be or is it not? And then there are some where it's like, like I was in this mode then, or it applied then, and now there's not really, necessarily a reason to continue to run that back. Even if it was fine, even that, we're gonna go out on a high note with that. We're gonna retire that one, send it out to the sunset on a good note. So definitely different, yes. And those are different examples, so
Do you have your poems in books? Are you a published author?
I am a published author. I'm gonna be honest, and I was perfectly fine. Sometimes you just do stuff, on your side. I said, I'm not bringing no the author copy or none of that. Like, when I finish my second edit and go order it and have real copies, then we'll, you know what I'm saying? I was thinking about that on the way, like, we gonna promote it, but it's not gonna be here. But the book is called.
I love it. Look.
The book is called, Aloneatiq. The book is called Is Different. And so I love it. So it came out actually July 15th of last year, 2024. And it's funny. I know. I appreciate it so much. It's 40 poems. The original plan, so I'm 41 now. The original plan was to have it around my birthday, so that would have been 2023. Didn't happen, but out anyway. You know what I mean? Like that. Like, I wanted it to be this way. It's not that way, so scrap it. So it came out almost a year later from what I felt like I was gonna do. You know what I mean? So, but 40 poems. Everything from the ones people that know me a little bit have seen before. Ones that are just a one-off, a one-pager, like all 40 of them are not, I'm getting up on somebody's stage and reading them for sure. And I thought that's what was important. That took a lot out of me. Like, these aren't the 40 best I ever wrote. You know what I'm saying? It's like some of them are what you're used to. Here's some other pieces, parts of me. Here's, this is, that time. Let me make sure I speak on that. The best thing I did that I like in this book is I dated basically when I wrote each of them. And not only did that's nice for, those that are, but that's nice for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, that was 2020. And then I can think, like, where was I? You know what I'm saying? Like, can I tie that together? Or just, I was here. I don't really remember everything, but 2018 must have been interesting. You know what I mean? So
I like that. And I can even see how that can be therapeutic. I've gone back and read, like, old journals from a year before when the new year come in, or like the year before, And I'm like, whoa, my mental health is so much better than it used to be. And it keeps you going, like it makes you want to continue to journal. And so I feel like if that was in poetry, I would definitely want to continue to write because you can't choose the version of yourself.
Right.
And all of them, they are all like, you're the sum of all the versions. So you can't hate any version of yourself.
I'm trying to do more journal. Like poetry was that substitute, and it's worked how it worked. But now I'm like, okay, but we need to get some journaling and every now and then. So shout out to you for that. But like, yes, poetry is like, yeah, let me get that, encapsulate who I am right now. And then look, yeah, it's here now, but you're here now. And, you know what I mean? Or even or I want to get back to that. I like, this was. Let me go find him again or her again. You know what I'm saying? So it can be both. But just make it inspirational for. How do I take that the progression that I'm trying to do, currently?
Yes. So are there any other words you want to say to your fans, supporters, community, Baltimore creatives, the scene? Is there a message that you want to just get off your heart today?
I'll say thank you to the Baltimore scene, right? Because, I really am. I'm a visitor that at this point people have said welcome. Make yourself at home. You know what I mean? And that's not a guarantee that nobody owed me that. That's a testament to who this community is. And again, I think part of why they embrace me is because I show up humble. I'm giving y'all the best I have to fit in within, the scene with everybody else, the amazing slam scene, just the amazing, this is the different regions have different identities. And people tell the truth out here. Like they give, they're very unapologetic out here. You know what I'm saying? So just saying, okay, I can do my version of that. And thank you for letting me be my version of me. You know what I'm saying? Like instead of people embrace that. Every individual time somebody says that style is your style, keep it going. Even though 3 years ago I've already decided that's what I'm going to do. It's just a quick recharge. Just in case the battery was trying to go away. So shout out to the community. Thank y'all for embracing me to be myself. And it's just so inspirational, whether it's when I see that person for the first time, I remember that. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's the other amazing artists that are just okay, let me not sleep because they not, you know what I mean? So it's just, I need this. This community is important. This culture is important. And I'm so happy to represent, again, even as came into it, representing me a part of this. Although I'm not from Baltimore and I don't live in Baltimore.
Well, if you work, eat, sleep, play,
My residence, when I go home and turn the key.
You still support the community, the ecosystem.
Right.
We got a symbiote.
We definitely do that.
Well, I thank you for your time. I thank you for coming out and dropping them gems. I'm hoping that by the end of the year we could definitely get one of your poems on because I would love to put out one of your poems. Hopefully we can get a really good set for it too. We have some lights and things. I definitely thank you because listen, the time it's a value and your mind is an asset and you are the currency. So I thank you for investing in it.
And the reason that I gave that energy is because of the platform, because of the individuals, because of the team, everything in front and behind the scenes. So it was nothing for me to take that time out. So thank you as well.
Thank you. Yeah, we did it. Let's keep it a beat.
Let's do that.
Keep it a beat.
Where I was at, I'm I'll take the break. That was hilarious.
That was hilarious.
I'm with all this. It's cool.
And it's funny.